Hello and welcome. My name is Campbell and this is Spiral Up, where we talk about practical things we can use to improve our experiences and get more of what we want. And today I wanted to talk about living as the superhero inside you and being the hero of your own story. So let's get into it. Okay, so I talk a lot about standing in your power, and I guess a common question is, what does that actually mean? What does it mean to stand in your power? Because it's all well and good to say these things, but it's a different things to have practical skills that you can put into action. And so for me, standing in your power, it all starts with knowing who you are and knowing what you believe, what your values are, what you stand for, and your perspective of the world, and understanding that that's a good perspective and it's true and right for you, and the belief that's yours. You don't have to change that for anyone. I guess the opposite would be not standing in your power is where anyone can change your mind. People come up and they can just talk you into anything because you don't have a belief system that's instilled enough to make you believe in yourself. And there's a saying that says, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And this is a problem in our society, is that most people don't stand for anything. We're not in the Western society. It's not a society that is built on tradition and culture and things like this. So other traditions, other cultures, they instill a lot of belief systems. They instill, just think about, I guess, religions and how they see the world. That gets instilled into people, into a perspective of what they believe. And so a lot of religious people obviously stand by those beliefs, and they'll sit there and if you go up and talk to them and say, no, you're wrong, what about this? They won't change their mind because they believe that. Now, this, of course, can be restrictive as well if we're believing dogma and other people, basically if we're believing other people's interpretations. But this is the thing, we need to find what our perspective is, because it's our power we're standing in. It's no one else's. It's ours. And so unless we find what that is, then it's pretty hard to stand in it. And of course, that power is inside you. And again, as I always mention, meditation is definitely the number one tool for introspection and really sort of getting to know yourself and starting to understand more what's going on. Also, just contemplation, all these things they tell us not to do, daydreaming, using your imagination. These are all you accessing your spirit, your true self. And so the more we do that, the more we understand who we really are and what we stand for and what we're here for. And this is another thing. Once you understand that you're here for a reason and that your perspective matters and counts, then that gives you a lot more energy to stand in your power, because it's all to do with, this is all an energy struggle. It's all to do with other people trying to change your mind, trying to change your trajectory. And are you going to let them? That's really what standing in your power comes down to. And as I said, if you don't know what you stand for, then it's going to be very easy to change, to sway you into different perspectives. And so when we live life, we really should live life and see ourselves as the hero, as the superhero, as the hero of the story, because this is a story and we write it with our thoughts and our beliefs and the energy we give off, our intention. So we can write ourselves as anything. We can choose to believe the world's perspective of reality, that it's all about getting a job, working 40 years, having kids, getting mortgages, and then dying. Or we can believe to see it from a different perspective. We can listen to alternative points of views, and we can take them into ourselves, run them through our own filters, and see what makes sense to us, what we believe, inside. Because as I mention a lot, it's all got to do with understanding how you see the world, because that's why you're here. You're not here to see the world through anyone else's eyes, only your own. And They are the only eyes that you can see the world through, of course. Anything else, this whole game of trying to live like others, live up to others' expectations, be fashionable, be in the in crew, all this stuff. It's really just putting a facade over ourselves, wearing a mask, and that just takes away from us. Because in the end, the statue is not finished when there is nothing left to add. The statue is finished when there is nothing left to take away. So we've obviously got all this baggage and all these layers of costumes, masks on, and it's really, and that's all been given to us from the outside world and other people. And so the power is underneath all that baggage. So if you strip it back, take it off, and the more you do that, the more you'll get closer to you and closer to your power, because you are the power. It's you that you're looking for. You are the one that you've been waiting for, and you are the hero. You are the hero of your story. So you can listen to other people's interpretation of yourself and the world, or you can listen to yourself. You can use your incredible mind to create the you want to be, to create whatever reality you want to see and interact with. And this is also standing in our power. If we can teach ourselves to hold thoughts, to hold visions and pictures in our minds and feelings, and get into those moviescapes in our mind, then we can really start to alter and affect reality, because it's all energy. And the more energy and emotional energy and output we put into things, the faster we get a result, the faster that returns back to us, because it's a bigger, stronger energy. And so this is also what meditation is, but also visualization, and that feeling of really building yourself in your mind into who you want to be. Because first you build it in your mind, and then it becomes reality, because everything is created twice. Everything. Did you know that? Everything's first created as a thought. Everything's a thought before it becomes a physical thing. Everything's a non-visible, energetic thought before it becomes a visible, physical thing. So everything is energy first. The physical is just the expression of the energetic world. It's also just our interpretation of the energy through our five senses. And so this is all malleable. It's not a constant. It's not something that can't be changed. And of course, where we are at the moment, there are big corporations and MSM outlets that all want us to think a certain way and are trying to change our reality and their reality, the reality of the whole world, by making us think what they want us to think, making us see what they want us to see, and making us feel what they want us to feel. That's why there's so much fear going around, because it helps their agenda. It doesn't help your life, it helps their agenda. So do not buy into the fear. If you didn't see my last video on fear, go and watch it now. So this is the thing. Once you stand in your power, fear disappears. Once you understand that the power is you, and that all these other people, they're just exactly the same as you, that's it. I realized when I was young that all this stuff, all these people, in suits walking around trying to look important, it's really just a game of trying to get people to believe you, isn't it? Who can get the most people to believe them wins. But you can't take it with you. But they don't win, of course. And it's just a game, it's just a game. People just trying to get you to believe. So don't believe it. It's a much more powerful place to come from, because, if you're someone that needs other people to be with you and believe what you believe, to feel valued and to feel powerful, well, you're not standing in your power, you're standing out of your power. So that's definitely not the way you want to go. You want to be someone who leads by example, because you know who you are. These are the people that people want to follow. These are the leaders, people who don't go out there and tell people what to do. Don't go and point at the world and say change. The real leaders are the ones who work out who they are, what their perspective is, what they want to achieve and what they want to do, and they do it. And that, they work out what are their ethics and morals, and they start living through that. They walk the walk and talk the talk. And these are the people that we respect and that we remember, and that change society in the world. So your power is in you, and like I said, it's all to do with building up, what Jim Rohn called your personal philosophy. How do you see the world? Where do you fit into it? Why are you here? These are all good questions to ask yourself on a regular basis, and write them down as well. See how they change. What are your ethics? What do you stand for? What will you tolerate? What won't you tolerate? Because if you work out your boundaries and where you stand, and you understand that that's right for you, then you are powerful, and no one will be able to change your mind and sway you with their opinion. Because most of the time, these people trying to change your mind, it's not based on their beliefs, it's not based on it's probably just based on someone else's belief that they picked up. It's just sort of random opinion stuff. It doesn't really mean anything unless you can get enough people to follow you, and then you start to affect what happens, which is what's been going on behind the scenes for a very long time. And of course, the Great Awakening is showing us this. And so now more than ever, it's time to stand in your power. And it's time for us, the people that can see what's happening, the people who are, in inverted commas, awake, to stand in our power and to teach by example. And, to give people the confidence around us to do the same. And in doing that, that's how we can change the world. Changing individuals always changes the world. So I hope you got something from that one, guys. Thanks for spending some time with me, and I'll talk to you all on the next video. Bye for now.